Wow. Gee whiz. Look at them jump like that.
Welcome to the second episode in our Flashback Series. With this sailing season being cut short by the restrictions implemented because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we were thrilled to recall a time in our sailing past when we had captured a ton of wonderful adventures, but we didn't have the bandwidth at that time to produce videos. You'll probably find that our drone footage from 2 years ago isn't as smooth as it is today, and we took a lot more still photos back then. We used them in this flashback series so we can really show off the places we visited. Hope you enjoy! Mallorca is the biggest of the Balearic Islands, which are part of and off the southern coast from mainland Spain. The previous episode focused largely on the steep, rugged terrain and remote coves off the north coast of Mallorca. As soon as you transition around the northeast point of the island, Cap de Formentor, the landscape levels out precipitously. But just wait. It is stunning nonetheless. We passed by Cap de Formentor 3 times as we transitioned back to Soller to pick up our second set of guests, before circling again to the southeast of Mallorca and the wonderful calas that line the coastline there. Each time we passed this prominent lighthouse, we were in awe. With our adult kids, we stayed off the town of Alcudia. While this was a fine place to spend the night, it couldn't hold a candle to the isolated coves of the north coast with their steep mountainous shores, or the calas of the southeastern coast, which are best described visually. So keep watching. We visited Puerto Cristo with both sets of guests. The waterfront is beautiful and inviting. The public dock is straightforward and very handy. And there's also an underground cave here that we all enjoyed, not only for the geological wonder it presented, but also for the refreshingly cool below-ground climate. Short walk from town, you can visit a couple of the many calas that dot the coastline. We were really getting excited for what was to come. Here's our youngest at the helm. Both of our kids have been on the water and aboard sailboats since they were very young. Tom and I just loved looking over and seeing one of them as our skipper.
So we just finished about a 10-mile sail, tacking up wind from Puerto Cristo to Cala Arsenal. Little tiny cala. We're snugged in here deep, tight, and got a few other boats with us. When you look at it on the chart, it looks like there's really no room for like maybe one boat. But we got 3 sailboats and a couple power boats. And up close and personal to some rock walls here, which will be exciting. But I think we have ourselves pretty well anchored inside here for the night.
This is Cala Arsenal from the air when we had the cove to ourselves the next morning. Well, besides this tour boat that drove in all the way, then turned on a dime and headed back out again. We really wanted to visit the island of Cabrera, which is a national park that sits about 10 miles south of the southernmost point of the island of Mallorca. Our kids were excited about venturing down, so off we set. We couldn't pick up a mooring in the main harbor until after 5 p.m., so we swam and hung out in a nearby bay until that allotted time. Once in the main harbor, we went ashore and hiked up to the fortress, while there was still a little daylight. In the morning, we took advantage of additional hiking trails and we saw lots of these unique black lizards, which supposedly only exist on Cabrera. Naturally, therefore, they are protected, and they certainly have the run of the place.
Oh, peeking out again. Goodbye.
It was time to head back to Mallorca, after a quick drive-by of this cave.
So we're coming back from the Cabrera National Park, which is an island off of south of Mallorca, and we had a really nice visit there. We're headed back to the mainland of Mallorca now, and there's not really enough wind to sail with, but it's kind of sloppy seas because there's a pretty big storm system east of Mallorca, which is not giving us any wind, but it's giving us a whole bunch of swell. And this is kind of like the worst of it when you're on a boat, because not enough wind to sail with, so you have to motor, but plenty of swell to throw things around. And you can see the island of Cabrera there in the distance, and it was a great place. It's a very natural setting. They control very closely who can go on the island. You have to get a permit ahead of time online, and it's not always easy to get one, and they limit how many people can stay there or for how long. You're allowed one night in July and August and 2 nights in June and September. So very natural there, very quiet, very peaceful.
We just arrived in Cala Barcas, near sort of between Puerto Cristo and oh my gosh, somebody just jumped off. Oh, they're screaming, they're so psyched they did it. It's probably at least, I don't know, 35 or 40 foot drop. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know my son Zach would head off of it if he were here. Anyway, we just arrived here and anchored, and it's a really beautiful setting over here. We have a couple charter boats, a couple sun sailboats. So everybody seems to have had a wonderful day. You know, the interesting thing about cruising is that, you know, some days you have an absolutely shitty day and it's often followed by something pretty cool like this. We had an okay day. We got a lot of work done, but then as we left, we got our rudder stuck on somebody else's bow line in the med mooring system. And it was just really, really painful to try to get unstuck, and we had a lot of help, and it was both embarrassing and we were worried about the boat. But you know, things like that happen, and then you come to a place like this and it's pretty damn cool. So we're anchored in, I think there's 3 meters under our keel, so really good depth, and we know we're gonna have a wonderful night tonight, although maybe a little bit rocky, but anyway, a day in the life of a cruiser.
After visiting the island of Cabrera, we went to Cala d'Or to get a rental car to take the kids back to the airport. Then we came here to Cala Barcas by ourselves. Early one morning, we saw 2 women paddleboarding into the Cala, and they had pretty large packs tied to their paddleboards. They came close to the back of our boat and asked if this was Cala Barcas, and were thrilled that, in fact, it was. These 2 had taken a challenge to become the first to paddleboard around the 555 kilometers of coastline around Mallorca. Their effort was called Soller to Soller because they left and returned to that harbor. And they raised money and awareness for ocean conservation. Their journey took 24 days. We gave them water and wished them well. They were tired and eager to get to land to meet up with friends who would help them reprovision here. We were very impressed with these 2 young women. We loved it here in Cala Barcas, and we came back a week or so later with Steve and Patty. One evening we were treated to this.
A game they play, 1,000 miles of sadness. I can be with you wherever, stay at home or in a foreign land. I can stay like this forever, 'cause I got the world in my hand. Don't you worry about tomorrow. Let's stay up until the morning light. Let the sun take care of your sorrow, and I promise the kids will be alright, 'cause we don't want them all stressed out, running for their lives. A game they play, 1,000 miles of sadness. I can be with you wherever, stay at home or in a foreign land. I can stay like this forever, 'cause I got the world in my hand. Yes, I got the world in my hand. I got the world in my hand. Yes, I got the world in my hand. Yes, I got the world in my hand. Yes, I got the world in my hand.
As you can imagine, the snorkeling here was amazing.
I can be with you wherever, stay at home or in a foreign land. I can stay like this forever,
enjoyed this, please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get notified about new videos. We visited other incredible calas and fun harbors along this coastline. We'll cover all of that and more in our next flashback video. Also, check out our previous flashback video for lots on the town and the port of Soyer and the coves along the northern coast. Thanks for watching.